listening to Proof Text, a Glossa House podcast by Dr. T. Michael W. Halcomb, Dr. Fredrick J. Long, Dr. Mario Melendez, Dr. Jennifer Noonan, and J. M. Smith. Welcome and enjoy.
Hello, welcome to Constituent Marking with Fred Long on Proof Text, and I am Fred Long. We're looking at 1 Corinthians 12, verse 18, and we're doing constituent marking. Down below, for those of you who are watching, you can see the legend, and you can learn to do this marking method. You don't have to change word order. It's a fairly simple method, and it's great. It's a way to be consistent, and it works really well. So, first thing we do is we're looking for punctuation. We're also looking for connectors. So I'm seeing in the sentence just a period at the end, verse 18. Nunide o theos etheto ta mele. And so we'll just start with that. Nuni is an adverb, which I put a dotted box or circle around it. De is a connector, which marks distinctive development. And this is significant because in the previous verses or sentences, verse 17, there was no initial connecting conjunction. We just saw subordinating connectors, conditional sentences, a couple of paralleled, punchy conditional sentences. Now the nuni with that iota at the end, nuni de, is the nuni is marking a turn as well. So one of our doctoral students, Kevin Sutherland, did a study on that just in a class with me, Advanced Discourse Greek Grammar, and so he tracked that out. That it's used at transition points. The iota is marking it up a little bit more. Nun means now. Nuni is more marked and is helping signal like a transition. And there is there's a hard kind of pivot right here in a sense, because Paul has been talking about body parts, thinking and considering things themselves. And if the ear says, I'm not an eye, therefore I'm not a part of the body, that kind of thing. And now we're getting the perspective of o theos, God. God, etheto, established, ta mele. So o theos, single underline, etheto, single underline, that's the subject and the verb. Third singular, this is an aorist, active. Actually, a toe. I think that's, I'd have to look at that. Etheto. Yeah, I think it's definitely aorist, and it's definitely third singular. But I do think it's active, but I'm questioning that. This is from tithemi. So tithemi is a me verb, and when you see the false duplication gone, the tav with the iota, you know that you're looking at a non-first principle part. You're not looking at a present tense or imperfect tense, and so this verb means to set or establish. So God is set down the members. He set down the members, and then you have en ekaston avton, each one of them. Now, this en and then ekaston is neuter, accusative, singular. Now, it's notice that there's the punctuation here, commas. Now, those are added by our editors for comprehension. But what we're having here is the avton The en ekaston avton. The avton is a generative modifier, so we draw an arrow over to what it modifies. And then the en enkaston, I'm going to put double underline because it's accusative, but really it's functioning to oppositionally to, so I put an equal sign. It's explaining more information about mele, the members, comma, each one of them. So this is a way of particularizing the general members to envision them as each, which has a kind of a distributive understanding, or at least an understanding that individual members are being specified. And this is further just emphasized really by the N. The N there is just not typically needed, but this is a way to help focus in on a particular specific distribution. You have a specificity here. So each single member of them is in view. So even though you have this collective members, at the same time as you have the members being talked about, you have in the mental representation of the discourse grammatically marked each individual member. So God has set down the members, comma, each individual one of them in the body. So entosomati is how the text continues. Entosomati is a prepositional phrase with an and then to, somati. Somati is dative with n, in the body. So this is modifying, probably established or set down. He's set down in the body, or is it modifying mele? The members in the body. I think you could probably see it either way. The members in the body. He has set them down, kathos. Kathos ethelesen. Now, kathos begins a subordinate clause. Just as means just as. And then you have the verb ethelesen, which has an augment on the front, which with thelo, the verb thelo, the augment can sometimes come in just as an eta, and that's a formational kind of thing. And then you have the ending sen, third singular. This is an aorist, third singular, aorist active indicative third singular. Altogether, it's just as he willed. Just as he willed. So God set the members, each one of them, in the body. He set them in the body just as he wanted. Just as he wanted. So that's how we mark this text up. That's how I would translate it. And what's going on here is a kind of a strong, distinctive development here, focusing on God's role. His role to establish things, to will things, just as he wanted. And the body parts, even though it's a collective whole, is made up of each individual member, each single member of the body. And this is significant. This kind of language of corporateness, but yet individual members, also shows up in Ephesians 4:7, after Paul establishes the unity of the body and the oneness around one God, one Lord, one Spirit. In 4 through 6, so even after he establishes this large unity, he then goes on in 4:7 to talk about grace given to each one. So each person is not lost in the body. Each person is so important and is singled out very distinctly. And we need to see that in the grammar, and that is indeed what we see here going on. A lot of prominence is given to this with the with this appositional statement, particularizing that. And so each person, you need to understand that God has designed you perfectly to be in the body, and you need to take that to the bank and be thankful for you. You, we, I, each have an important role, function in the church, and we're instrumental to its functioning. The church needs each person, and so let's remember that, and God has willed it that way. All right, well, thanks for listening, and hope to have you listen and watch next time. Take care.
Interested in growing your ancient language skills but not sure where to start? Glossa House can help. From illustrated readers and short stories to lexicons and grammars, Glossa House offers a variety of resources for beginning, intermediate, and experienced ancient language learners. Head to glossahouse.com today. Glossa House, language resources for the global community.